Yes. Yes. Yeah. Morning all. Right. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, where the screen is visible or not? Yes.
Yes, sir, it's visible and audible.
So we just had an introductory session yesterday about this Azure Data Engineer. Just I'll take 5 minutes what we discussed in the last session. So why data engineer and how a data engineer is different from a ETL developer. If you go back like 10 to 15 years back, there's no concept of data engineer. We had ETL developer. Okay, as compared with the ETL developer, how data engineer is different means data engineer, you should be able to work with all varieties of data. You should be able to work with structured data. You should be able to work with unstructured data, semi-structured data, NoSQL data, and with streaming data and all formats of data and all types of data. Role of Azure Data Engineer. Azure Data Engineer products or services. Job market of Azure Data Engineer. Job market of Azure Data Engineer. Advantages of, see, we are going with a cloud, Azure cloud, right? Yes. And what are the advantages of going with cloud over this on-premise, right? In case of on-premise, we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. We need to set up our own hardware infrastructure on top of that OS installation. Purchasing of database license, installation of database server, designing of database objects. Means in case of on-premise, we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. We need to do the installation of OS. We need to purchase the database license. We need to install the database server and designing database objects. All is to maintain all this, and to maintain all this, we require separate teams. Hardware team is required. Operating system team is required. Networking team is required. Security team is required. Database administrators are required. But here everything in the cloud premises. We no need to maintain all this. We no need to maintain all this. So to no need to maintain any infrastructure. No, here everything in the cloud environment. Here everything within the cloud environment. Yes. So cloud is majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering data in various form. So data engineers with the help of these cloud services, they work on data and make it structured and useful. Data engineers with the help of cloud services, they work on the data and make it structured and useful. Data engineers responsible for smooth data flow from source to destination. Yes. Data engineer responsible for preparation of data, cleansing or filtering data, transforming data, and for processing data. See, what are the as compared with okay, data engineer as compared with the data scientist, strategizes for the future, analyze the data, identify the patterns, recommendations for the future, right? For data analysis, for data predictions, for data classifications, for data clustering, data recommendations. Data analyst, on the other hand, is going to summarize the data of the past, visualizing the data. Summarizing the data of the past and visualizing the data. Data engineer does all the groundwork for data scientist or analyst. Nearly 60% of the data analysis work is done by data engineer. Data engineering involves what are the sources from where you need to pull the data from, what is the format of the data need to be transformed, how to transform the data, and what is the destination of the data. That is the target, right? Yes. Role of Azure data engineer. Role of Azure data engineer, right? Any organization, if it wants to increase the business revenue, role of Azure data engineer means if any organization wants to increase the business revenue by utilizing this customer behavioral data on its website, the organization uses, if it is using Azure for its operation, it is going to hire two people mainly, Azure data engineer and data scientist. First, data engineer is going to create a data warehouse for the organization. A data warehouse is a storage of structured and queryable data. It contains data from various sources, such as new users, existing users, and data engineer structures this data, stores it, monitors it in data warehouse. Secondly, this data engineer communicates with the data scientist to understand the data requirement. He also communicates with the business team. He also communicates with the business team to know the data requirement. Yes, he has to keep in mind the business needs when dealing with the data in the hand, right? Yes. So the data engineers keep constantly processing, analyzing, and monitoring the data. He creates data pipelines. Data engineer creates data pipelines through which the data is integrated with all the crucial stages of this data flow. He also makes sure that the pipeline is always efficient and secure. Okay. This is the primary role of Azure Data Engineer. This is the primary role of Azure Data Engineer. But what is the other roles of Azure Data Engineer is designing the entire data flow architecture, creating data warehouse for storage of analytical data. Yes, it makes fast and easy to query the data for analysis. ETL, extract, transform, and load. They need to extract data from multiple resources. They need to extract data from multiple resources, transform it into structured format. Extracting data from multiple resources, transform it into structured format, load it into loading this data into company's storage service for the build for the further business evaluations by the data scientists, data monitoring, data engineers. They make sure that the ETL is performed in a proper way and the data is available anywhere it is required, right? Data security is also a major responsibility of data engineers. The data needs to be secure at each step of the process without any leaks, data leaks, or data exposures. Collaboration and communication. Collaboration and communication, right? They need to constantly communicate. They need to constantly communicate with the business team to check if the team requires any data insights, collaborating with the data scientist to deliver the data as per the requirement. Just 1 second, right? Yes, collaboration and communication, right? So that delivering the data as per the requirement of data scientist. Analytics. They need to have some data engineers, they need to have some kind of analytics to perform this analysis. And also certain things has to be automated. Certain things has to be automated, such as the data extraction process. So data engineering products or services. Azure data engineering products or services. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Bricks, Azure Streaming, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Key Vault. Just 1 second, right? Yes. So yes, I was discussing about this, right? Yes. Azure Data Engineering products or services. Azure Data Engineering products, various Azure Data Engineering products or services. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Bricks, Azure Streaming, Azure Cosmos DB, and Azure Key Vault. Okay, just I'm opening a separate notepad. Yes. Azure SQL. If I talk about Azure SQL, it is a cloud or DBMS. It is a cloud or DBM. In see in a simple manner, right? Yes. Azure SQL is a cloud or DBMS. Azure Data Lake is a distributed file system. Azure Synapse is a data warehouse environment. Azure Data Factory is a ETL, cloud-based ETL. Azure Databricks, Apache Spark-based data analytics platform. Azure Streaming for capturing or processing high volumes of streaming data. Azure Cosmos DB, like just like MongoDB. Here we have got Cosmos DB, cloud-based NoSQL, right? Azure Key Vault. Okay, these are the main Azure data engineering products in this. Azure Cosmos DB is a NoSQL database. Azure Key Vault for protecting data in the cloud. For protecting data in the cloud. Azure SQL is a cloud or DBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. Cloud or DBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is for OLTP operations. It is for OLTP operations. OLTP captures end user transactions. End user transactions. It captures end user transactions. It is for OLTP. It is not for data warehouse. Hmm. Azure Data Lake Storage. Azure Data Lake Storage. ADLS. A distributed file system. A distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud. Hadoop distributed file system. On-premise distributed file system. Azure Data Lake. Cloud DFS. It is a repository. I can say it is a repository of large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. And semi-structured data. It is a repository of large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Yes. Every cloud data lake provides some benefits. Every cloud, not only this Azure cloud, every cloud data lake provides some benefits. Every cloud data lake provides some benefits. Unlimited data storage. Supports all varieties of data. Supports all varieties of data. Structured data. Supports all varieties of data, structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Structured data like DB tables, Excel files. Semi-structured data like XML, JSON, XML files, JSON files. Unstructured data like images, videos, raw text. Supports all formats of data. .txt, .csv, .json, .parquet, .avro, .tar. Here data is in files. Here data is in files. We cannot set up relationships. Here data is in files means we cannot set up relationship between files. If data is in tables, if data is in tables, we can set up relationships. We can set up relationship by using primary key or foreign key. By using primary key or foreign key. emp.txt is there. emp.txt, dept.txt, attendance.txt, salaries.txt, dpt.txt, attendant.txt, salaries.txt. Here we cannot set up relationship. Here we cannot set up relationships between the files. But if we have tables, we can set up relationship using primary key or foreign key. Example, we have got tables. Example, 4 tables. Orders, sales transactions, customers, products. What is the relationship? What is the relationship? Order of what? Order of what? Product. Booked for whom? Order of what? Product. Booked for whom? A customer. Once ordered, confirmed as a transaction. Order of what? Product. Booked for whom? A customer. Once order confirmed. Once order confirmed as a transaction. So I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS. So I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS. The two used for data warehouse. So I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS, the two used for data warehouse. That two I'm expecting parallel processing. That is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. That is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. I'm expecting cloud or DBMS, that two used for data warehouse. That two I'm expecting parallel processing. That is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. One second. Nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay. Azure Synapse Analytics. For data warehouse operations. For data warehouse operations. For big data operations. for data warehouse operations, for big data operations, for analytics, for parallel processing, for batch processing. Batch processing means millions and trillions of records. Okay, so Azure Synapse Analytics for data warehouse, for big data operations, for analytics, for parallel processing, for batch processing. Here we have a database. Here we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. SQ. Here we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. Simply we say like Synapse DB. We call it as Synapse DB. What is Synapse DB? What is Synapse DB? Cloud Data Warehouse. Cloud Data Warehouse of Azure. When to go for Azure Data Lake? When to go for Azure Data Lake and when to go for Azure Synapse? When to go for Azure Data Lake, when to go for Azure Synapse means see whenever okay, if data is in structured format, it's going to go for Azure Synapse. Whenever data is unstructured or semi-structured, go for Data Lake. Mm. Next, we have got Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory, ADF. In a simple way, it's a cloud-based ETL. It's a cloud-based ETL, cloud ETL or cloud-based ETL. It's a cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure. For example, here we have got OLTP systems. Here we have got OLTP systems. Here we have got like a data warehouse systems. Here we got OLTP and here we got OLTP. Data warehouse systems. Here stores historical data. What are the different OLTP systems? Azure SQL comes as an OLTP. Online transactional processing. Oracle SQL Server. MySQL. MongoDB. In case of data warehouse, Azure Synapse, Teradata, Netija, Vertica. These are specialized databases used for data warehouse especially. Teradata, Netija, and Vertica. So ADF, ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in data warehouse. ADF doesn't come in OLTP. ADF doesn't come in data warehouse. See where you can see the ADF in between these two. ADF doesn't come in yield. ODF doesn't come in data warehouse. Today I'm doing a transaction. Today I'm doing a transaction. Today I'm doing a transaction. Tomorrow it is a history. One second. ADF is an integration service. It acts as an integration service between OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. Data warehouse systems. ADF is an integration service between OLTP systems and data warehouse systems.
Sir, ADF full form means, sir.
Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory.
Oh, okay, thank you.
It is just like Informatica, but Informatica is a on-premise, but it is cloud premise. Azure Data Factory is a cloud premise ETL, extracting, transforming, and loading. Extracting data from different sources, transforming it and loading it into different formats given by Microsoft in Azure. It's an integration service between these databases, OLTP systems like databases and data warehouse. Between these two, you can see ADF. ADF is going to extract data from these databases and dump into this data warehouse.
Okay,
So,
in data warehouses, we can call OLAP.
OLAP, yes.
Okay.
For example, to make you understand, today I'm doing a transaction. So it stores historical data. Data warehouse stores historical data. Today I'm today I'm making a transaction. Tomorrow it is a history. All transactions, right? If you talk, all transactions captured, all transactions captured at OLTP. Just I'll take 5 minutes more. All transactions captured at OLTP systems. What is meant by transaction? See, if, for example, you're making any online transaction in Flipkart or Amazon, or any transaction, if you're making any transaction here in
So, the entire
Flip,
business you are using OLTP, right?
yeah. So all transactions captured at OLTP systems means generally if you're making online transactional processing like databases, How to bring these transactions? Today, like a lot of transactions happened. How to bring, how to bring these transactions into warehouse system. So every day, like bringing the transactions into warehouse systems. We have ETL. We have ETL for extracting, transforming, and loading. We have ETL by using ETL tools. Informatica, data stage, talent. By using ETL tools, Informatica, data stage, talent. All these are on-premise. On-premise ETL tools. But I need a ETL, but I need a ETL on cloud. That is what? ADF, Azure Data Factory. Using ADF, we can connect. We can connect with cloud databases, non-cloud databases, cloud databases, non-cloud databases, and NoSQL databases, right? Yes. Using ADF, we can connect with cloud, non-cloud, and SQL, NoSQL databases. Using ADF, we can extract data and pump data. So using ADF, we can extract data and we can pump data into data lake or this Synapse and perform transformations. Here it is ETL. Here it is ETL, but our working style is ELT. Working style is ELT. What is this ELT? Extract, load, transform. Extract, load, transform. ETL. For small volumes of data, that is in GBs. ELT. For huge volumes of data in petabytes. For small volumes, GBs. For huge volumes of data, petabytes of data. For huge volumes, ETL is bad. Okay. So there's something about it's ADF is mostly preferred. So for it's ETL tool for extracting, transforming, and loading data, right? Yes. So this is what the course content I'm going to discuss, like Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Factory components. What is Azure Data Factory? Top level components, pipelines, organizing pipelines, debugging pipelines, publishing pipelines, linked service, data sets, activities, triggers, integration runtime, source control, global parameters, credentials, monitoring ADF jobs, alerts, data flows, ADF exercise. Around 50 exercises we'll be discussing in brief. Databricks with PySpark, introduction to this big data, introduction to this Hadoop, introduction to Spark, introduction to this cloud computing, Azure, and creating Azure Databricks service, creating, adding users and groups to the workspace, creating a cluster, and displaying cluster, starting cluster, terminating a cluster, deleting a cluster. Query asked why and how it is bad. ETL for huge. See, generally for huge data, if you want terabytes or petabytes, I'm talking ELT. Go for ELT. For small data, okay, ETL is better. Extract, transform, and load it. But for huge data, extract, load it first, and next to transform. I'm saying ETL or ELT, both they perform these three operations. Not saying it is for small data, you can do for ETL. For huge data, you can go for ELT. Okay. Databricks cluster management, terminating cluster, deleting a cluster, cluster information, cluster access control, right? Types of cluster, all-purpose cluster, job cluster, Databricks pools, Databricks without pools, Databricks with pools, clusters mode, standard, high concurrency, single node, auto scaling, Databricks utilities, credential utility, data utility, file system utility, job utility, library utility, notebook utility, secrets, widgets, limitations of utilities. Databricks integration with blob storage, Azure Data Lake, Azure SQL Database, Synapse, Snowflake, PySpark SQL data frame, in working with this PySpark data frames, right? Creating data frame with different types of functional deselect, collect with column, column rename, drop, order by group, join, UDF, flat map, all these things we'll discuss. And final, PySpark SQL functions, PySpark built-in functions, and also like Databricks handling multiple file formats, Databricks batch processing, external sources, Databricks streaming API, Databricks Lakehouse, workflows in Databricks, Azure Synapse. These are the things that we'll be discussing in the Azure Synapse. Okay, all this related to this Synapse. And also we'll be discussing in brief about this fabrics. It's a Microsoft Fabric, how to create fabric hierarchy, fabric overview, how to create fabric workspace, right? These things. So yesterday just I was briefing you right about this. Hmm. Also data engineering.
Sir, we'll continue the class or we are closing it 11?
Just
Oh, sorry, it's 6
2 minutes,
o'clock.
just
Okay.
2 minutes, just 2 minutes I'll take.
Okay.
Azure Data Factory. So A main thing here in Azure Data Engineer, what we'll be discussing is Azure Data Factory for ETL, Azure Data Factory, ADF. Secondly, we'll be discussing on Azure Databricks, PySpark. As compared with other training types, right? Here we'll be discussing PySpark in brief. PySpark is the main execution engine. So in brief, we'll be discussing and Azure Synapse Analytics. Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, PySpark, Azure Synapse Analytics, uh, and Microsoft Fabrics. Microsoft Fabrics. Apart from this, these are the major discussion. Apart from this, we'll also get knowledge on this Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake Storage, Azure Streaming. You'll be discussing about all this. Azure Data Factory is zero coding ETL. Azure Data Factory is zero coding, no prerequisites, no coding, codeless, right? Yes.
Sir, I
So
had
you'll
one
be,
doubt.
yes, one second. I'll give time for it. See, you'll
Yeah.
be getting each and every session recordings, daily recordings. You'll be getting the soft copy of this class notes, and you'll be getting the assignments and tasks to work with. And a WhatsApp group will be created where you can have direct interaction with me. Otherwise, you can take snap of that errors you got and you can just keep in the WhatsApp so that it will be handled. And also like live interactive hands-on sessions, the sessions, right? Practical sessions. If you want to do parallel along with me, you can do parallel along with me, hands-on sessions. Okay. And interview questions, around 100 interview questions will be provided, right? Yes. But apart from this, from Durgasoft, if you doesn't have knowledge on this Python, they're going to provide you the full access to the Python videos of Core and Advanced, around 100 videos, right? If you want. But I'll be giving syntaxes, right? I'll be providing the syntax, each and every syntax before we go with the actual practical part. And also apart from this Python videos, they also provide MySQL videos and also Unix, Linux, shell scripting videos, around 100 videos of Mr. Durga, right? They are going to provide you with the three things: Python full access videos and MySQL videos and Unix, Linux shell scripting videos, right? Yes, in free once you get enrolled for this course. The course duration is around 3 months. The timing of this batch initially, okay, I'm making it clear about the timings of this batch once again before you go with the payment process. Initially, for the first 4 5 days, 1 week, it will be starting at 5 a.m. in the morning. Later, it will be starting at 6 a.m. in the morning. For the first 4 5 days or first week, it will be at 5 a.m. It will be starting. Later, it is going to be start at 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. in the morning, right? Fine. So 3 months is as someone was asking queries. Now go ahead with your queries, everyone. So yeah, next class will be on Monday. Tomorrow, Sunday, there is no class. Next class will be on Monday. Monday also everyone can attend the session using the same link. Using the same link. Okay.
Sir, in
Same.
Microsoft Fiber, we are using in Azure data pipeline, right?
Mm.
So,
Yes, yes.
so in GCB, we are using Medallion data pipelines. Both are working same or any difference?
Here, yes, here also we'll be working with this Medallion architecture. I'll be
Oh,
discussing about the same thing. It's followed here.
okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
And Some queries were asked. Is this class explained? Yes, Rinku Nayak, it's everything practical oriented. Many working examples will be discussing. You'll be getting it. Nothing theoretical, everything is practical. We'll be discussing with many working example scenarios, right? And also like two projects will be discussed at the end.
This is Ramesh.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm new to this and I don't know even terminologies regarding this. So, like I have heard a few terms like airflow, snowflake, something. What are these and where it falls, sir? Like,
See, okay, so for kind of airflow, like is a kind of scheduling, right? Um, but here in our course, right, we have got a scheduling for in course of ADF, right? We'll be using inbuilt scheduling tools are there here. In the case of ADF, Azure Data Factory, schedule trigger, tumbling window trigger, right? In this way, we have got for scheduling purpose, we'll be using ADF related things are available, right? So here, people who are new to this terminologies, right? This is what introductory session where what is going to be discussed. I was saying you, but slowly one by one you will be discussed in brief. There is just some basic Python knowledge, basic SQL knowledge. Still, if you doesn't have a Python knowledge, not a problem. So Azure Data Factory doesn't require any knowledge of anything, no prerequisites, no need of any database knowledge, no need of any knowledge, right? So for the first around 20-25 days, we'll be discussing on this Azure Data Factory. Meanwhile, you can update with Python. You provided with the full Python videos access, right? You can just check with those things. Okay. Any other queries?
yes. So for this ADF, coding is not required. So where exactly coding will be required, sir? Like, in which topic?
Azure Databricks, PySpark. In this all the
Okay.
remaining this all these things, right? Coding means basic Python knowledge, right? We have got many built-in functionalities. I was showing you, right? Many built. You don't need to write huge codings here also, but only thing is we how to use this many functions. Whatever I was showing you here, can you check it here? Different functions here.
Yes, yes.
All these functions here also Spark built inbuilt functions. How to use it? This how to explore this various. No need to write huge code. Directly inbuilt functions are available. Yes, how to use them.
Got it. And in real time, and in the, like IIT market, like the Azure one is the most demanded, right? So like compared to AWS and GCP.
Yes, yes. Azure has got high demand.
Yeah, and even like open source now are they are not recommending like the Snowflake and Airflow they are not using, right? So like
See,
much nowadays.
so now in Azure we have got Azure related. I got triggers are available. You can just use those. In case of I was talking like ADF, you have got a scheduled trigger, tumbling window trigger, custom trigger, event based triggers. These are available. And even if you talk about Azure Data Engineer in demand today, like Azure Data Engineer has been in very high demand today. See, especially data engineer and data science courses are in high demand, even though the recruitment that is the process is went very low, but still high demand for this data engineer and data science. And if you
Got
talk
it.
job market also, if you talk about Microsoft, every year like lakhs of companies getting registered themselves in the Azure. So if you see more than 95% of the Fortune 500 companies are utilizing this Azure cloud services, they intend increasing the number of job opportunities for Azure data engineers constantly. So even major companies are getting adopted towards this. They are moving towards shifting towards Azure. They're utilizing, so they're regularly in need of professionals who can work on this Azure and handle this huge data. Even the pay scales, if you observe, the data engineers has got the highest average salaries as closely as to data scientists. Data engineers and data scientists are the two highest paying jobs today. So companies, yes, if you see a lot of companies, so they're offering high paying jobs to data engineers. Interested in hiring data engineers with a great salary packages. If you see the salary package also 1.5 times more than the other technologies, right? So you'll be getting great demand by the end of this course. It means command. The same time, if they're providing huge packages, they'll be expecting some command on this technicals, right? Yes, you'll be getting those. Fine. Any other queries you got, anyone? Right.
Yes, sir, like I have like last few doubts. So while interview, like as of now, I have like around 4 years of experience in manual testing. So once after I will complete this course and I will do hands-on and everything. So in interview, like most of the concepts will be focused on like coding part, like SQL or Python or
They won't, they
entirely it
no,
will
no,
be
they
on.
won't ask that. Prerequisite for learning this course, but they'll ask you about the core things, not about those.
Like developer kind of thing they will not ask, right? Like we need to solve some DSA problems or something, or
No,
SQL
no,
related
no, no, no. They
queries.
won't ask any coding, but how you will be performing what you did. So in generally, they'll be asking more questions on this Databricks and PySpark. This is the main things, right? Azure Databricks and PySpark.
Got it, sir. Got it.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. So the Monday, same time at 5 o'clock, using the same link. Okay, we'll discuss more on this Azure Databricks, PySpark, and this other things, right? Fine. Okay. So thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you on Monday. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.